Hello there, Sneak Peek here. Just getting ready to jump in and run through Lord of the Rings Online. This was, for several years, my most favorite game. I am a Lord of the Rings fan. I think you'll hear it in my voice as I go through. I've played several characters. My favorite is a Warden. I'm actually going to run a Warden through from ground up to 95 here, and then I'll change over to my normal Warden here. Part of this is because, I just want to run the main quest lines, pull in as many side quests as I need to kind of level up, and then go on through. You're playing Lord of the Rings Online. What are you going to do? You're going to play, different types of characters. So let's take a look at what type of characters you have. You've got races. You've got the race of men. You've got this new one here, which I haven't unlocked at this point, called the High Elf. The High Elf allows you to do some additional things here, including Warden, whereas if you see the elf himself does not have the ability to be a captain, a burglar, or Bjorn, but the High Elf does. So he can go out there and be a captain. We're going to talk about classes here in a few minutes as well. Each race has its own pluses and minuses. For example, if you see here, the Sorrow of the Undying, they have -7 will. These will come to play later on down the road. Fading of the Firstborn, a little less on fate, but they get a lot of maximum morale, plus 60 non-combat morale regen. Morale, think of that as your health pool. And then you have, you'll also have, if you're a magic wielder, you'll have some magic out there. And then, of course, you have the fact that they suffer no illness. Elves are very immune to different types of poisons and stuff. You get into the dwarves. We won't talk about this, but from my perspective, you just got to get in here and play with this. One of the things I love about this is when you go in to play a dwarf. If you go to start a character here, you'll notice you don't get a male or a female because dwarves are just dwarves. When you do go and choose like a hobbit race, up here on the top you'll notice that we can choose male or female depending on what race and what gender you want to play. Elf and Bjorn. Bjorn was a new class they put in probably 3 years ago, something like that. And it goes on from there. So the Bjorn, if you think about it, if you remember the Lord of the Rings, Bjorns are able to turn into bears while they're in combat, and so there's some lore out here behind that. Let's go ahead and pop over to Elf, and we'll just start over here. No, we'll start on the Hobbit and talk about these. So classes, Burglar. Burglar is exactly what you expect to see. They're masters of debuffing. They steal things. They sneak up behind people. In a fellowship, they're going to be put a debuff on the people you're fighting, and so basically he's making them weaker based on what they're doing from that standpoint. If we go to man and we look at the captain, think of the captain as more your Aragorn type of character. It's inspired by Eonor, King of Gondor. So again, they're a fairly straightforward class to play, although they do have a pet. So if you're looking for a pet that can fight for you, and by pet I mean it might be a man-at-arms, it might be a tiger, it might be a bear, it might be something along those lines. So you can go through and do that. Men can also be champions. Champions, again, are just basic damage dealers. Their role is to jump in there and in melee pretty much deal damage. It's inspired by Gimli, which happened to be a dwarf in the Lord of the Rings series. Your Guardian. Now, I always thought Guardians were more like the Gimli character, the dwarf character, so my Guardian is actually a dwarf. This is a defense dealer. They use shields to defend themselves. They don't do a huge amount of damage, but they can take a lot of damage, so a lot of times they're considered tanks when you go through here. And again, now they're talking about the the Guardian be inspired by Samwise because he was very loyal to Frodo and he was always there to protect Frodo. Your hunter, naturally, most of the characters I find that are hunters are elves. Most people play a hunter as an elf. They're a basic ranged damage dealer. They can do lots of damage, and a lot of people like that because they can really rip through people from long range. A little weaker up front because they can wear medium armor, leather armor, if you will, where some of the others, like the Guardian and the Champion, can wear heavy armor. We have a class called Lore Master. Lore Master is a support role. They're crowd control. So a lot of times they're doing using fire to damage their people. In a fellowship, the Lore Master concentrates on supporting his allies by hindering the foe's ability to deal damage. Minstrel, this is your healer. So when you're in a fellowship, this is the person who's going to go out there and be a healer. I have played a minstrel through as a damage dealer. And it was actually pretty enjoyable because you're sitting there playing your banjo or whatever you're playing, your lute, and you're able to run through that. The Runekeeper, this is another one of the advanced players, and again, this is a person that can either go damage or healer depending on how they're spec'd out, and also depending on what role you need to play in the game. A lot of times these are going to be damage dealers. Runekeepers use a lot of builders when they're fielding their skills, so you have to build out. I did play a Runekeeper for a little bit. Didn't really enjoy the play, so I'll go on from there. And then my class, the class that I like to play the most, is the Warden. The Warden is similar to a Guardian in that it's designed to be a tank. Back when I was playing this 5-6 years ago, I was actually in a kin. The Warden was phenomenal at taking damage and running AoE debuffs. One of the ways that the Warden builds their skills is they use what's called gamuts, and that actually makes it a very advanced class to play. You'll see as we start the process of going through here, there's a lot of things where you have to do a fist shield spear type of thing, and as you are making these individual attacks, they will build into a more powerful attack. And so you start putting those together to run a gamut chain to go ahead and do damage, put heals back on yourself, do area of attack, area of AoE damage, area of basically damage to multiple people. And like I said, back in the day, the Warden was the king of survivability and also accepting aggro, so keeping that up there. So we're going to be playing a Hobbit Warden for a long time. We're going to run through this as a little bit of a tutorial, but one of the things that I want to focus on in this playthrough is actually looking at the visuals, exploring the landscape, talking about the lore of Lord of the Rings Online and how they spent so much effort, so much time in building out this universe to allow yourself to immerse yourself in this MMO. I really, really am looking forward to this, and I hope you enjoy this playthrough. Again, we're going to place my Hobbit Warden up through about 95. Once we get to there, we'll come in, we'll actually switch over to this guy. By the way, this is a typical loadout for me. I find that I like the fisherman outfit. I am from the south, if you can't tell from my voice here a little bit. So I will get to the fisherman guy, and this will be my pretty much my outfit once we go through, even though I have access to a lot of others as we move on. So let's go ahead and get started. I think it's going to start with a little cutscene, so I'm going to turn that up a little bit for myself. And we're going to run through a little tutorial at the very beginning just to get back into the swing of things.
While out for a nighttime stroll in the Shire, there is a certain unpleasant feeling lingering about. Something on the air is strange tonight. Perhaps it is only the unseasonable chill or the great darkness of this particular evening. But surely it is nothing noteworthy, for this is the Shire, and it is rare indeed for any evil to touch this land.
Alright, so as you march through the landscape, you'll find people that have these rings over their head. You'll just go ahead and double click on them.
Oh there! What's your business on the road?
And we got Bounderboffin here, who's basically giving us a little bit of a thing. What goes on? What's your business here? He's startled and he says, "Oh, thank goodness it's a hobbit. I'm awfully sorry I had a bit of a scare. Something doesn't feel right tonight." So let's go ahead and continue, and let's see what's going on here. I do know how to fight, so let's go ahead and grab this satchel. Loot all. Let me go ahead and...
Inside is a spare weapon. You should loot it for yourself, then equip it to use it.
So I'm starting to get my javelins, I'm starting to get my spears, my shield, and we'll go from there. Now I do want to go into my options menu, and I want to go to loot. That's okay. Always loot all except, and I'll do some things offline to work with that. So I picked up my weapon.
Be sure to equip your weapon before we have at it. We ought to test your skill in battle.
All right.
Try coming at me.
All right. So. And so you'll notice down through here, I have some green skills, different stances that I can jump into, quick thrust, shield bash, and then we get to our Warden stomp.
Did you hear something? There, down the road.
Oh, what is it?
Who could that be?
It's the Fellowship of the Ring. It's the beginning of it. Something's going on here. Need to get off the road. There's something scary coming along. Pippin, Sam, and Frodo are gone. Oh, there's a Black Rider. Halfling. Where's the Bagginses? There are no Bagginses in these parts, sir. And he believes us, I think. Little fools. We don't have the ring, so it's no big deal. He's going to move on.
Gracious me! Did you see that?
Oh my goodness. Alright. So we're going to run through here, and if you'll notice, there's spiders. So if you press tab whenever you're in here, it will actually, when you're close enough within range, mark a spider. So I'm going to go ahead and just come in here. We'll do a 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. And they're getting experience. You see my experience bar down through here. Get close enough where I can yell at him. And I don't know if you noticed, but this item in my number 4 slot, Defensive Strike, when you're running through these items, if I press like a 1-1, you'll notice I have this gambit section here. I need to fix this as well. Let's see, where is that? Oh, well, I'll figure this out on the side. I'm going to bring my gamut and put it down here where it's a little bit closer to see as we go through. Killed off a couple of spiders. Pretty happy about that.
Well done. Let's press on now.
And we're going to go ahead and run on through here. Old Odo's Leaf Farm.
Blast! I just need to find the key.
I think we're going to find a different set of people here, but the spider webs. I really hate spiders. We need to defeat the spiders as we go through here. So, we'll see if we can do some gamuts a little better. And there we go. He's going to go ahead and do a couple more. Press tab. I'm just doing 1, 2, 4. 1, 1, 4. Out of combat again. And there's one more. So that's pretty much the playstyle of the Hobbit.
Safe.
Go ahead and continue him. Continue following. If you press F, no, it's I can't remember what the way is, but you can actually follow people. Oh no! It's Mundo and Celine. They're being chased by brigands. We need to fight off the brigands. Oh, he called me a ninny. We're being chased by brigands. Do something about it. Alright. Oh, they're going to run through the farm and we have to fight the spiders. My goodness. Alright, here they come. Come on, guys. Stop. Oh! Knocked him out with one punch.
Ouch!
Don't quit that. Don't hit a lady. That's it. You're my number 1. What happened? Oh. I got captured. Oh my goodness. I'm surrounded. I don't have permission to use that yet. Try and get out of myself. Oh, somebody's coming. Strider!
Hobbits seem to turn up in the most unlikely places, Bounder Boffin.
Ouch!
Come along. We are not safe just yet.
Alright. We're going to follow Strider. He's going to help us get out of here. Oh no. Amdir. No, we got to save him. Now, if you play a different race, you actually come in on the other side. You have a different way of walking through here. But it's basically does the same thing. First little bit has all been about teaching you how to move around. Use click and drag to move your camera, scroll in, scroll out to look at what's going on, and then just getting immersed in the environment.
It is safe now.
It's really one of those things that I've always loved about Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
So
dear.
here's Mundo and Celine, and sometimes you come in and you're actually on their side, and you come through that way.
This was
So-
a dire turn of events.
We can go ahead and finish the quest, and let's listen.
Wounded by a Black Rider, the Ranger Umdir escaped with his charges into the wild, making his way back to the village of Archet.
There, Captain Brackenbrook, a retired sellsword, has allowed Strider and his companions to stay and take respite from their cares.
Alright, so we're going to be in really this first little area is all about learning how to follow the quests and run through that. I've got about 10 minutes left on this episode. I'm going to try and make these about 30 minutes long.
Thank goodness you're awake. That fellow Umdir seems very ill.
We're going to go ahead and accept quests, and basically we're going to walk through this intro, see if I can go ahead and do this in the 10 minutes we have left. There is a lot of
Do
going
not
back and
trouble
forth.
yourself on my account. It is only a chill.
And-
There are too many deeds to be done, all pressing, and none of them easy. Perhaps you can help, my friend. Captain Brackenbrook will not heed my warnings.
So we're just going to go ahead and drag these bags over. I've got quite a few loot bags, if you'll notice. These are Armor of the Hammerhand, Apprentice Writing Tracking Plate. What that means is, because I was buying some of the pre-releases back in the day, I have these nice armor package, Roham set, 4-year gift box, 3-year gift box. I did find that I have a... let's go ahead and click that, click accept. My UI, some character portraits. I've been on this thing for 7 years, so we'll just run through that. I takes the inventory on and off. We'll be able to combine those bags here in a little while. I'll do that
I
off
don't
screen.
like the look of those rangers one bit.
And Captain Brackenbrook, he's pretty much going to have a tragic story here. Just a little forewarning as we run through here. Now, what we're doing here, I just want to point out, this is just a small town. It's a starting area. But look at the beauty of what they did.
What do
These
you
graphics are about 12 years old. I think Lord of the Rings, I think I saw something where they're about 12 years old. So it is a little bit dated on the graphics. If you really, think about what we can do today with modern graphics cards and modern technology. But man, I've always loved Lord of the Rings, and this the style that they go through. So I'm walking through and basically talking to people throughout the town, asking them if they believe that we're in danger, and of course, no, they don't. It's just we're just happy-go-lucky peasants, people of the Tenon. Nothing to see here, no danger. So I got to go talk to Strider, and even though I'm warning people, they're not really believing me too much.
Alas, for peaceful folk everywhere, it is an enormous task to convince them that evil people with evil intentions will commit evil deeds.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and be collecting all of the medium armor, the leather armor, if you will. You'll notice we have light armor, that's cloth, leather, and chainmail. In my class, I can only hold up to leather. If you hover over a piece of
Before you
armor,
try to fight, you must learn what skills you may from the trainer.
if you hover over the armor, it will tell you what the protection is. And if you hover over a piece of armor that's already equipped, it'll tell you what the current armor is versus the equipped. So if you look here, my shield, the initial shield that I received was 35 armor. This one's now 68 armor. Plus 19 critical defense, plus 34 critical defense. So as you start to look down through here, you're going to find that there are different things that you want to put on. By the way, there's gambit instructions here on how to work through the gambits. I see there's a person here. This is if you look up in their item, they can see that this is a little shield here. That's a guardian that we're going through. And so we're going to go ahead and get trained up a little bit and see what he wants us to do. So,
might I take a moment of your time?
Strike the training dummy with defensive strike. So use the skill defensive strike on the dummy, and it gives you some hints. Quick thrust and shield bash gives you more powerful gamut. To use defensive strike, use a training dummy with your shield bash ability twice. This should cause your gamut default skill to change in your defensive strike. So this is what I was mentioning earlier, that if we come over here and we basically use either click 2 or press the number 2, now my 4 becomes a defensive strike. Okay, so that's all we needed to do. Go ahead and continue on with that. He's going to give me a rusted javelin, a wooden shield, and I get to choose one of these items. And basically, I'm always going to choose the spear. Most of these lower ones especially, 8-13 common damage, 8-13 common damage, a little bit of abilities for armor and hit chances and other things. But I'm going to take the spear because I want to be able to do range damage as well later on down the road. And having a spear equipped will allow me to do that if I'm in the proper stance. And just come over here and you'll see that everything that was out there had a little shield around it. And I'm going to adjust these a little bit to put all of the things that need to be up here. Let's see here. Move that one up there. And I'll be taking care of working with some of these later on down the road, but not right now. I'm just really focusing on playing, getting everything going through, and we're ready to go. Okay, so back to Strider. I don't know if you noticed a little bit ago, I did level up. I'm now level 2.
Do you feel confident in what you have learned?
I'm also earning some
dear, my poor old friend.
There I
crept
leveled
over
up
him.
again. I'm now level 3. And at this point, I need to continue on and start talking to Captain Balderbrook. This will take me out to Calder Cobb. If you remember from the Lord of the Rings book, Calder Cobb was a little bit of a traitor. So we're going to go ahead and continue this quest. I'm going to go ahead and stop right here on this first episode. I'm going to name this one Episode 0, just because it was so much into the prep of this. Thanks for staying along. Leave a like if you like what you're seeing here. Leave me please subscribe if you want to see content like this and get that in your inbox. Click the bell, don't click the bell, I really don't care. Personally, when I'm looking at YouTube, I don't want to have reminders popping up on all my different devices. But please, if you subscribe, you'll actually get me on the subscriber list, and you'll be able to come back to my content on a regular basis. So, this is Sneakbee signing off. Thanks for everybody for joining with me, and we'll see you again in a few days. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.